This section here enables the user to push out in a broadcasted message as soon as possible with no targeting or segmentation involved. They would simply enter in the simple notification content, determine where the simple notification would drive the customer, whether it be the application, a URL, or a rich notification. And then in terms of the recipients, there would be XIDs that would be fed into this push point to give us an idea of who this message is being sent out to. An XID is a unique identifier that is created upon the download of an application once that application has been married with the mobile customer engagement SDK. And then lastly, this would be pushed out, and it would immediately be sent out to all the targeted audience. So then there is this aspect of multi-layered or simple and rich notification push campaigns, and that's where we would go for this new target. And once we go over here, this would send us over to our very easy to use 3-step process for setting up a push campaign. First step will be creating the message. The second step will be adding the rules, the targets, the segments. And the third step will be publishing it out. Now, as you can see here, we have different options and checkboxes for each operating system. This is to ensure that all the content and the campaigns that will be rendered correctly on each individual operating system. So as you can click through, each of the requirements will be slightly different based on the operating system requirements. You can also send some of these messages straight to an inbox, and that would be by using the rich notification and the inbox notification. That would be bypassing the simple notification, which is sent directly to the unlock screen or to the top of the phone banner. And those simple notifications or push notifications can be a little more intrusive on the end user. And so these inbox-only messages are a little less intrusive and are accessed at the end user's convenience and leisure. So as you can see, there's also the ability to templatize. And what would happen is if you create a campaign, you can templatize that campaign, including all the different operating systems that you would like to include. So I'm going to load a pre-existing campaign for VT cycling. And as you can see here, there's all the content involved. Button label will be for the unlock screen sound when the message comes through. You have a badge, and this would be on the actual application icon. This would notify to the end user that there's an outstanding message or a new message in their inbox. Key thing I want to point out here is after they get that initial simple notification, you, the business user, have the ability to then determine where do I want to drive that customer. Do I want to drive them to open an app? Do I want to drive them to open to a URL on a web browser? Do I want to send them to a specific point within the application? Or do I want to send them and utilize this rich notification? And the rich notification sort of opens up a third level or a third layer of messaging. And before I go into that, I just want to show you how you can set up the rich notification here. There's a very nice, easy-to-use WYSIWYG editor You can also point to pre-existing content and create it. And as you can see here, it would be rendered, and you have the ability to preview it on that particular operating system. So then I talked about that third layer. So down here, you would have the ability to determine the primary action. And that is if they would click on that rich notification, it would then send them to either a specific point within the application, a dialer. So if it's a customer service scenario, we can have a pre-configured number that would be sending them to a dialer, as well as a URL. But now I want to sort of navigate over to the rules section. And the rules section is laid out very easily. You have the available rules at the top, and then the rules that will be implemented into the campaign. As you can see here, you can easily drag and drop them down. And I'm going to particularly talk about location. So location is where we set a virtual geofence around a specific location based on a latitude and a longitude. And then the business user can create a radius of however big or small that virtual fence will be, and then they would activate that location. Once that location is saved and the virtual geofence is set up, then there would also need to be a windowing, which would determine when is that virtual geofence open and looking for devices that are entering or exiting that particular geofence. So this window rule is going to act sort of, in the case of retail, maybe as open store hours. If a store is open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., then maybe we'll set that range here. You also have some other capabilities. You have the ability to schedule out. You can fan it out across different time zones. You can set it to a specific user's local time zone, as well as a particular time. The frequency you can utilize in terms of maximum and minimum amount of messages sent to the user, and maybe a minimum time in between messages sent. The user rule and the life cycle would be utilized for leveraging when messaging out based on when they open the app, when they installed the app, before or after. And then there's also tagging, which would be our segmentation. And so like I talked about earlier with our XID, which is our unique identifier, that would have to be associated on the organization's data mart side. And if the data mart is grouped off or segmented based off of keywords or groups, we can then call a list of XIDs based on keywords to then segment and send out through the mobile customer engagement platform. And then the last step would be to name the naming convention, so some administrative, and then tying a particular campaign to a specific application that's been created. And then you would save and send that particular one out. So that is the targeting segment in terms of setting up a multi-layered messaging campaign. You also have the ability to create locations as well as templates and location groups up here. And then the last part I want to show you is the measuring and the tracking, so the reporting capabilities. Reporting capabilities allow the business user to report based on each application as well as each campaign, and this would be through a date range of your selection. Some of the reporting capabilities would be application opens, click-throughs, views of certain messages, whether a message has been sent or received, and so on. So those are the reporting capabilities as well. And then these last tabs are for developers, which I will not go into today. If you have any more questions, please refer to our IBM Mobile Customer Engagement website, and thank you very much.